Alright guys, so I figured I would go through the looksmaxing process. Yes, I'm sure we've all been there. We look like shit. We want to improve. For me, it really happened in 2021. I probably went to the gym for 2 straight years, 6 days a week, didn't miss a day. And then recently, a few months ago, really, I stopped doing the whole looksmaxing thing in like 2022, but recently, I did stop going to the gym, and I'm just going to talk about the entire thing. Obviously, looksmaxing, it really just depends where you start from. So I guess I'll just share some photos just for context. The first one, well, this one is just kind of a fun one that I found. This is me holding a fish. I was about 5 years old. It's interesting when you see photos of yourself, from like 2004, 2005, and you just wish you could go back. I was with my dad there, and I don't know, it's just strange. I mean, I guess everyone does wish, they were younger and stuff, but, I don't even remember that moment, but it was probably like the early 2000s, just kind of a photo there. And then this is me in 7th and 8th grade. Oh my goodness. Yes, I did have glasses. I had glasses for about 4 years. And honestly, I don't mind glasses. Now, I did switch to contacts mainly because I played baseball and it was just way easier to have contacts, obviously. I think like 9th grade. Yeah, 9th grade is when I switched to contacts. But like 6th, 7th, and 8th, I all had glasses. And I do look like a bit of a nerd, but honestly, in elementary school and also middle school, I did have a pretty good friend group, but there were just some baseline photos. In high school, I was a complete loser in high school. I'm sure a lot of you could probably surmise that from some of the previous videos, but then this is me. This is like 11th grade or something. That's me. You can see based on, where you're going to store fat is based upon your genetics. So I store a lot of my fat normally in my face if I weigh a little bit more. Normally I'm never, like, even when I was like up to 167 or 168, I'm 5'9". When I was up to that high, I still really didn't have like a blubbery stomach or anything like that, just because I don't store a lot of fat in my stomach. But you can see that. And then just getting to kind of my looksmaxing. So this was probably like, I'm trying to remember the exact timeline. Okay, so I started going to the gym in 2020. And this was probably like during the pandemic. They had just reopened the gyms. They like closed them and then reopened them 2 months later. So this had to have been like May or maybe June of 2020. I start going to the gym because this is actually a funny thing. I weighed myself probably May of 2020. And at this point, dude, I was like doing nothing. This was the one time in my life, because I never used to sleep in that crazy. I was sleeping until 11 a.m., like no job, no life, nothing going for me. And it was kind of like the pandemic, so you got away with it. You remember the early days of the pandemic. I remember really the only thing I used to do is I would check. It's just kind of a weird thing that I do this stuff, but I would always check to look at like the pandemic numbers and how many deaths there were in China. And I remember getting really excited and telling my mom, oh, this pandemic's going to be nothing. China's reporting 0 deaths now. Obviously, we're going to be getting hit later than China, so that's why we're having an uptick in cases, but it's going to go away. And of course, it comes out that China was lying about all their numbers. They had way more deaths. They just lied. But either way, just getting back to the whole looksmaxing story, I decided to start going to the gym. And of course, the first 3 or 4 months, I had no clue what I was doing. I was randomly doing things. I mean, I didn't even know how to like chest press or, you go in aimlessly, you go on the treadmill, whatever. After a few months, you start toning it in. End of 2020, I, still go to the gym, but then in 2021 is when I really ramped it up. I remember in the winter of 2021 is when I started going to the gym at 6 a.m. because it opened at 6 a.m. and I would be there at like 5:55 with a couple of other older dudes waiting to get in. We were kind of just waiting in line, and I had this routine where 6 to 8 I would work out. I would do cardio every day. It would start at around 7:30, so I would do my weights from 6 to 7:30, the weight training, and then the cardio from 7:30 to 8. I'd go home. I would make eggs. I would do, a protein shake. I was really on my game. And then this was a vacation we went on in 2021. This was probably my peak. Honestly, I'll be honest. This photo right here that I found, this is probably my peak, in terms of basically no face fat, cleaned up beard, decent looking hair. So that was probably my peak in 2021. The issue with that photo is because of the calorie restriction, like, when you Looksmax, you start, doing the calories, tracking the calories. I was doing it all. I had no energy. My dick didn't work. It was terrible. So even though I looked better, there's like no attraction to women. It was really, really bad. I think even more so than the penis not working is just the fact that you're always tired. And like, I would eat food and be starving. But even doing this is just so stupid. Like, if you actually do want to Looksmax, of course it depends on your body type, but you're probably going to want to bulk. Like, that's the first thing you're going to want to do, unless you're already fat. Obviously, if you're trying to Looksmax and you're fat, that you're going to have to get skinnier, especially in this dating market, in this, it's just, the women control everything. So if you're at, a little bit overweight, you're pretty much fucked with any semi-attractive girl. The first thing you're going to want to do is lose weight. But if you already, like, if you're a skinny little bitch, or even if you're skinny fat, it might just be best to just bulk and unfortunately put on more fat, but you'll actually get muscle. So when you trim down, you don't look like a little freaking cockroach. What are those things called? Little grasshoppers? Praying mantis. That's what they're called. You don't want to look like a praying mantis. But yeah, that's kind of what I looked like. I did have a six pack, but I had no muscle. But yeah, even that was kind of ridiculous. And then I kept working out pretty much from 2021 to sometime in the middle of this year in 2023, and then I just gave up the charade because at a certain point when it comes to working out, I just got bored with it. And you guys know, man, I don't know, the past few months I've been going through stuff. I've had brain fog. I'm trying to upload fucking 4 or 5 videos a day. All I do is just sit and upload, sit and upload, sit and upload. And when it comes to like, oh, did this make you better? Are you more attractive? Is it better for the dating market? For me, it did nothing, to be completely honest. Absolutely nothing. It didn't, make me that much more attractive, I feel like. I guess you could say you look better. Certainly, the one thing I will say just in general, if you're a little bit overweight, you're going to want to lose that. If you have acne, you're going to want to lose that. Those are just two things I think, as a person, you should try and improve. Now, I think acne is mainly based on genetics. I never had acne, but it's not like I have this, oh my goodness, look at my skincare routine. I don't even know what a skincare product is. It's just all based on genetics. But like the two main things in terms of like Looksmaxing, it's the weight and then it's also the acne. There's really nothing else you can control, I guess getting a good haircut, having a clean, facial hair. Yeah, that's basically what I look like right now. I have to have facial hair, otherwise I'll look like a 6th grader who just got off a starvation diet or something. The other thing I want to say about Looksmaxing, so this is the one thing that's just, I think it actually makes it worse, and I've seen this on the YouTube shorts. Oh my god, the one dude made a specific gum so your jawline gets harder, and they're like, bro, you gotta improve your weak jawline. And the problem is with these dudes, their jawlines are inverting. Like the cheeks are inverting. And does that not look unnatural? Are women seriously attracted to that? To me, that looks so bad. They're like, oh, you gotta do this. And I guess I could try and do that, but I think it would make me look worse, to be completely honest, doing something like that. It's like, I'd rather just have a natural jawline than having it frickin' invert. But when it comes to Looksmaxing, again, it really just depends. Like with my hair color being red, a lot of younger girls just aren't attracted to that. It is what it is. There's really nothing I can do about it. But I do see a lot of guys and girls. You'll see, you go on like the Tinder subreddit. A lot of these guys, they'll say, bro, how's my photos looking? What am I doing wrong? And the problem is they'll just be like they'll be slightly fat. Now, they're not anything crazy like obese to where they're like, oh my God, I know I have to lose weight. But even now, if you're slightly bigger, dude, you're pretty much fucked when it comes to attractive girls because they've already got like 40 dudes and it's just not going to happen. You're not going to get many matches, if you have something like that to where you are a little bit overweight. So that's what I would say. In terms of the Looksmaxing, I think it's better to look your best, but like the whole bullshit with counting calories and, going to the, I don't want to get, I know going to the gym is good for your mental health. I get that. I went to the gym for like 2.5 straight years. The craziest thing with the gym is when I stopped going to the gym, and people will think this is fake. No, this is real. I thought because it was such a routine, it took me back to like when I would miss a day of school when I was sick, like when I stopped going. That's how much of a routine going to the gym was. The first few days I stopped going, it felt like one of those days, when you're in high school, maybe you're in middle school, you get off of school, you say you have a little cough or whatever. That's what it felt like for me when I stopped going. That's kind of how crazy the routine was. But for me, it was 6 days a week. I always took Sunday off. I would say, don't do 7 days. I know some guys just go crazy with it. They do every single day. I guess it's not going to kill you or anything, but honestly, I started noticing better, growth when you take days off and things like that. But everyone's body is different. Either way, I did try and do the Looksmaxxing mainly in 2021. I still went to the gym throughout 2022, but really, I was only doing the calorie bullshit, where you count your calories. You're like, I got to get 200 grams of protein, bro. We need protein shakes. I remember having protein shakes. Really, that was like 2021 into 2022. And at a certain point, it just gets old, man. It's not improving my, social status or anything. It's just all bullshit. For me, I'm never going to get fat just because it's not in my DNA. It's just, I barely eat anyway, so it's like, what's the point of even working out or doing cardio? I'll tell you, I think I could have been a Stairmaster champion. I would go on the Stairmaster, and I know the Stairmaster it's a girl machine, but dude, the Stairmaster, if you actually are trying to lose weight, getting on it the first few times, it's a royal bitch, but after you get your body used to it, dude, you can you could lose 400 or 500 calories on that thing easily in like a 30-minute interval. But you got to, it's hard to get it going, once you start getting and doing the routine of 30 minutes every day or whatever, it's a little bit easier. And the other thing I'll say, I do have to say this, just to be honest, your mental health will crater if you stop going to the gym for whatever reason. Or maybe that's a generalization, but yes, it does hurt your mental health pretty significantly. But overall, guys, with the gym, it's just like, dude, I have to make videos. I don't know what you want me to say. I can't wake up at fucking 5 a.m. anymore every day. What I do now, this is what I do. I go to sleep at I gotta start going to sleep earlier, man. I go to sleep at 12:30, 1 a.m. I wake up at 7:15, 7:30. I start filming at 8:30. I used to always, you guys get into that habit. A lot of you probably haven't, and I never thought I would, but I got into a habit, a 2 or 3 week thing where I would always have to have coffee in the morning. And the thing is, it would be decaf. Isn't that strange? You think people, oh, you're obsessed with caffeine. No, I would get decaf coffee and I was obsessed with it. How soft is that? What is even the obsession? It's decaf. I don't understand, but I don't know. I kicked that pretty easily. I like coffee. There's nothing wrong with coffee, but it was just kind of a strange thing. Here's a good story. When I was really obsessed with going to the gym, this had to have been 2021 around March Madness time. I remember because I would sometimes go to the gym 2 times a day, which it's just completely unhealthy, but I ended up going in one afternoon. It was probably honestly April. It was one of the first days where it was kind of nice out because I live in Ohio and you're dealing with the bad winter, and then you have the first day where it's 60 degrees, and it is a very interesting time, the first day where it's 60 degrees. I'm trying to think of something to compare it to. It's just whoa, how is it this warm? You don't have to wear anything, but I ended up going up in the afternoon. And they had the whole, pandemic restriction thing where only one machine was open and the machine next to it was not. And there was 2 Stairmasters there, so one of them wasn't open. And I knew the one dude who was on the one Stairmaster, so I was like, listen, man, I know you're on this one. Do you mind if I knew he already didn't care, so I just moved it, and he didn't care. So I just went on the other one. I moved the little sign, and this dude, I don't even know how to explain him. He was probably 65 years old. He was wearing a face mask, so he wasn't wearing a mask, but the fireman's mask, it doesn't even help. It's completely ridiculous. He was wearing a little protective clear shield. He looked like an unemployed Santa Claus, and I saw him after I had gotten onto the Stairmaster right next to the other dude. He marched downstairs, and this woman, the general manager of the gym, came up. She was freaking power walking, and she's like, you need to get off there. You don't know what you're doing. She just goes crazy. I ended up arguing with her and trying to stand my ground because it's just so ridiculous. You guys, I'm a 21-year-old dude, 22-year-old dude. Honey, please. The dude next to me is in shape. There's nothing wrong with him. The dude's like, dude, if you're really that worried about being in danger, this is what I always used to tell people during the pandemic era. If you're seriously that worried about that machine being opened or closed, your ass should be at home. Okay, because the idea that, oh, if he's 5 feet away from me instead of 3, that means I'm not going to get, COVID and die now because he's 5 feet. It's just so ridiculous. If you're that scared of the pandemic, stay home. Work out at home. There's better ways to do it than ruining everyone else's time. But then again, I am kind of an ignorant young person. That's kind of the vibe that happened. But whatever, dude. It was just so stupid. It's funny. Today, I was at Target, and I saw this cute girl at the checkout, the self-checkout. And I was going to go approach her, and I just thought to myself, like I said to myself, you're just going to fucking embarrass yourself, dude. Stop. Patrick, just stop. But I've been listening to the new AJR album. I don't know, there's something weird about albums. Normally, the first thing I'll say about it is it's like, dude, if you have like 2 years to prepare an album, why are there repeat songs in it? That's one of the things I never understood with albums. But the other thing, normally, I'm like weird with albums to where I'll only like 2 songs. The one song, Inertia, I like that. That really does like a good job at describing like my life. And the other, forgot the name of it, like the main song is decent. All the other ones, normally with albums, it's pretty tough, again, for me to like a lot of the songs. Normally I only like 2 or 3 of them. So yeah, that's just my history of looksmaxing, going to the gym. I think in summary what I would say, it's always good to make yourself, appear better, present yourself well. But there can be a certain point where it goes too far. And I do think a lot of guys cope and be like, I'll just looksmax, I'll just look better. That doesn't really fucking do anything, dude. You gotta have social skills, let's be honest. But either way, guys, that is gonna do it for this video. Make sure you're following me on X. Link to that's always in the description.